SpaceX Crew-11 launch global space missions. July 2025 Roundup. Buckle up for liftoff madness. This week's launch schedule is out of this world with 12 missions worldwide. Get ready for the most epic week in space launches yet. With a whopping 12 missions scheduled globally, space enthusiasts are in for a treat. From crewed flights to the International Space Station, ISS, to a plethora of satellite launches, this week's lineup is a testament to the thriving space industry. Let's dive into the highlights. SpaceX takes center stage with 5 Falcon 9 missions. Crew-11 mission to ISS. On July 31st, SpaceX will launch 4 astronauts, NASA's Zena Cardman and Mike Finke, JAXA's Kimia Yui, and Russian cosmonaut Oleg Platonov, to the ISS for a 6-month scientific research mission. Booster B1094 will attempt a return-to-launch site landing. Triple Starlink missions. SpaceX will launch 3 batches of Starlink satellites. 1. Starlink Group 1029, July 29. 27 Starlink V2 mini-satellites to low Earth orbit, LEO, from Cape Canaveral. 2. Starlink Group 134, July 30th. Another batch to LEO from Vandenberg Space Force Base, marking Falcon's 500th recovery attempt. 3. Starlink Group 174, August 2nd. Starlink Group 1030, August 4th. Additional launches to LEO and a 53.1-degree inclination orbit, respectively. International launches steal the spotlight. Australia's historic first, Gilmour Space's domestically built Eris rocket is set to launch on its inaugural mission, Test Flight 1, from the Bowen Orbital Spaceport on July 29th, making it Australia's first orbital launch from home soil. ISRO and NASA's joint venture, the NISAR satellite, designed to map Earth's elevation, will launch on July 30th from India aboard a GS-LV Mark II rocket. Marking ISRO's 9th launch, China's busy week. 1. Shuangqiushen 1, Kunpeng 03, July 29th. A commercial Earth observation satellite with 1-meter resolution. 2. Changzheng 8A, Guowang, the first Falcon satellite in rivaling SpaceX's Starlink. 3. Kuaizhou 1A, unknown payload from the Xizang Satellite Launch Center. 4. Changzheng 12, Guowang, the second Guowang launch this week, propelling the constellation's rapid expansion. Other noteworthy missions: Rocket Lab's suborbital Jake 4 mission, July 30th. A secretive government payload on the Hypersonic Accelerator Suborbital Test Electron, HASTE, testbed. But here's where it gets controversial. Will China's Guowang constellation eventually surpass SpaceX's Starlink in terms of global coverage and reliability? Share your thoughts. And this is the part most people miss. Significance of reusable rockets in reducing space debris and the environmental impact of frequent launches. What are your concerns or suggestions for sustainable space exploration? We want to hear from you. Agree or disagree with our take on this week's launches? Do you have any questions about the missions or the space industry in general? Voice your opinions and ask away in the comments below. SpaceX launches 24 Starlink satellites to polar orbit, boosting global internet coverage. Stop scrolling! SpaceX just pulled off another sky-shaking feat that could redraw the map of global internet coverage, especially at Earth's icy extremes. But here's where it gets controversial. Not everyone agrees more satellites are the answer. Late Saturday night, a veteran Falcon 9 rocket roared away from Vandenberg Space Force Base, near the coastal town of Lompoc, California. The booster, identified as tail number B1075, wasn't a rookie by any stretch. This single piece of hardware has now tasted space 19 separate times, 16 of those for Starlink alone. If rockets had passports, B1075's pages would be overflowing. The mission, officially dubbed Starlink 17-2, placed 24 brand new Starlink satellites into low Earth orbit, LEO. What makes this flight special is the polar trajectory. The satellites sweep over Earth's north-south axis rather than hugging the equator. why does that matter? In plain terms, polar orbits allow coverage of remote regions like Alaska, northern Canada, Greenland, and even pockets of Antarctica. Places where laying fiber optic cables is a logistical nightmare. Roughly 8.5 minutes after liftoff, the first stage booster arced back through the atmosphere and executed a pinpoint landing on the autonomous drone ship Of Course I Still Love You, bobbing in the Pacific Ocean. For the drone ship, it marked landing number 142. For SpaceX's entire fleet, it was touchdown 481. If you're counting, that's almost 500 times a rocket stage has been saved from a fiery demise and reused. An industrial-scale recycling program that would have sounded like science fiction a decade ago. And this is the part most people miss. According to astrophysicist Jonathan McDowell, 8,000 operational Starlink satellites are now circling our planet. That's more than half of all active satellites ever launched by humanity. Supporters celebrate the democratization of high-speed internet. Critics worry about orbital congestion and night sky pollution. Whose side are you on? Last Thursday offered a real-world stress test. Starlink users around the globe suddenly experienced a rare full network outage around 4 p.m. UTC. Within roughly 2.5 hours, SpaceX reported that most connections were back online, and full service returned an hour and a half after that. The quick recovery impressed some observers, but skeptics argued the blackout highlights the fragility of depending on a single mega constellation. If you crave more launch drama, note that NASA's next crewed flight to the International Space Station is gearing up for liftoff this Thursday. And SpaceX just launched another batch of 28 Starlink satellites from Florida days after the outage. Clearly, the cadence isn't slowing down. Potential flashpoint. Should regulators tighten rules before the night sky becomes a billboard of moving dots? Or do the benefits of connecting underserved communities outweigh astronomical concerns? Your turn. Do you view Starlink's polar expansion as visionary progress or orbital clutter? Drop your hottest takes below. Are we witnessing the dawn of universal connectivity or paving the way for a crowded and risky sky? Join the debate. SpaceX's second Starlink mission in 24 hours, launch from California. Video. In a remarkable display of technological prowess, SpaceX has successfully launched its second Starlink mission in less than 24 hours, marking a significant milestone in the company's quest to expand its mega constellation. But what does this mean for the future of space exploration? And is it a cause for celebration or concern? The launch, which took place on Sunday morning, July 27th, saw a Falcon 9 rocket lift off from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California, carrying 24 more Starlink satellites into low Earth orbit. This was the 19th flight for the Falcon's first stage, which successfully landed on the Of Course I Still Love You drone ship positioned in the Pacific Ocean. As the rocket's upper stage propelled the Starlink satellites into space, it marked the 95th mission of 2025 for SpaceX, with 92 of those missions being on Falcon 9 rockets. But here's where it gets interesting. This launch, combined with the previous one just 24 hours earlier, brings the total number of active Starlink units in orbit to a staggering 8,032. But what's the significance of this achievement? On one hand, it demonstrates SpaceX's impressive capabilities and commitment to advancing space technology. On the other hand, it raises questions about the impact of such a large constellation on the environment and the potential risks of space debris. As we celebrate this achievement, we must also consider the potential consequences of our actions. Is the pursuit of technological advancement worth the potential risks to our planet? And what role should governments and regulatory bodies play in ensuring that space exploration is done responsibly. These are just a few of the questions that come to mind as we reflect on SpaceX's latest achievement. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think the benefits of space exploration outweigh the risks? Or do you think we need to take a more cautious approach? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're interested in staying up to date on the latest space news and developments, be sure to join our space forums and follow us for the latest updates on rocket launches, skywatching events, and more.